When I fall out with the shame.
I'm Kate Nelson and I'm the artistic director of Nutshell. We're a small independent theatre company based here in Edinburgh. I work closely with Ed Littlewood, who is an independent producer, and we champion the work of female practitioners in Scotland. So we have a female playwright on this show, we've created roles for 2 actresses, and also our designer is a woman.
Certainly didn't earn my right to you.
Nutshell's been going for 10 years and we've had 6 shows. Allotment is our 5th show. It came about because I was alone on the allotment one evening during the middle of the festival picking green beans, and it was a very quiet evening here. There weren't very many people about. It was about 10 o'clock in the evening, and it reminded me very much of a line from T.S. Eliot's poem Burnt Norton, which is at the still point of the turning world.
But I can't bear to look into the glass and just accept that this is the man that I was born.
I think that a lot of theatre allows audiences to find a moment of pause, to find a moment of reflection, but theatre environments sometimes don't form the best place for that kind of thinking and feeling to happen. And so I thought it might be interesting to offer Edinburgh Fringe audiences particularly the chance to create or to experience a piece of work in an environment which was utterly different from central Edinburgh during the Fringe, which is about as busy and as frenetic as it's possible to get. And that's how Allotment was born. We then commissioned Jules Horne, who is a very well-established Scottish playwright, to create the script with us. And we started by coming here in February in the freezing wind and sleet of an Edinburgh winter to begin devising with 2 actresses, a lot of garden tools. They did a lot of digging, we did a lot of exploring, and out of that Allotment was born. We were very lucky. We were supported and produced by Assembly, who are a large venue that produce work during the festival, and we were given the opportunity to perform during the Fringe last year, and we won 2 major awards, an Edinburgh Fringe First, a Scotsman Fringe First, and the Centre for Sustainable Practice in the Arts Award for the most low carbon and green show of the Edinburgh Fringe last year. Well, Allotment and our second show, Thread, which is a sister show to Allotment, travel with, thanks to actually funding from Creative Scotland and the Scottish Government, travel on the tour with an education and outreach project where we as a theatre company travel ahead of the show, and we put together very elderly people, many of whom are quite lonely, quite isolated. Perhaps they don't see their family that frequently. Some of them don't have any family. We put that group of elderly people together with mother and toddler groups in the communities that we visit. And prior to us arriving, they decorate plant pots, they fill them with earth, they grow seeds so that when we arrive with our show, they have created the living backdrop, the living set that the show is performed in and around. And they also come down, so the adults come down and see the show once it's created.
A good apple hangs in wait on every tree for you to be. Now I want to know, he said I want to know.
My Allotment is where the show was held last year, and unfortunately we have returned to My Allotment this year as well. My Allotment is destroyed at the moment. My designer wanted the show to feel as if it was in an environment which was very wild and quite neglected. The idea being that we find these characters within this strange and slightly surreal environment, and she didn't want the Allotment to be what it was before I started devising the show, which was very well cultivated with very nice strawberries and raspberries, lots and lots of potatoes and all the kind of produce that we grow on allotments here in Scotland, and unfortunately I had to leave it all to go to weeds, which means that I've got about 6 months work restoring it when the show finishes.
Love and understanding flow so easily. All the words they sweep away are taken in. There's no need to speak to take the rhythm in. A good apple hangs in